Saram to our listeners. So we have been hearing a talk given by Dr. Sundar Iyer in USA, March of last year. So this is part two, the final part. So I am Gulab Bilimoria, and I offer my most loving and humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan Satya Sai Baba. So let's get straight into it.
This is the Guru you invite in your home when you chant his name. This is the energy that pervades you. Intane, gentane, ventane, continue non rises. I am with you, in you, around you, above you, below you. What else do you need? So we are fortunate, very, very, very fortunate. And it is our prarabdha, it is our karma, it is divine grace that we were brought into this fold of this divine teacher. If we miss this opportunity and still cover in fear and confusion, then we are missing a great chance. Open your eyes, open your heart, and look into this picture and see in those eyes the divine light shining, the cosmic energy shining. That is why an ordinary village boy with no education, with no money, with no social standing, with no social status, and no network technology, and nothing, he influenced millions of lives in one lifetime. Think about that. And it was a role model. He says, you can do that as well because you are God too. That is a message I take home every day. And these times when I get time to meditate upon it, then I'm overjoyed that my routine is I'm getting a break from this routine and able to contemplate more on Swami's teachings, read his teachings, listen to his teachings. The thought for the day from Prashant Nilayam that is so widely and so freely circulated, that is your message every day. Just take that message and contemplate, what is this? What does this mean to me today? How can I apply this today? You don't have to remember it a week later because there's another message waiting that day. So this is how I would spend these days, uniting my thought, my word and deed, and then trying to see how can I bring myself and my talents or my knowledge and whatever it is, Swami, how do you want me to share and open the path? And he opened this path through Srikant, this online thing. And this is how it works. It always works. Look for those opportunities. Allow him to show you the way. He is always there for us, ready to hold our hands and guide us. So I'll pause here for a second, Srikant. It's 9:35. So let me know.
No. This is perfect, sir. I think you alluded to multiple things here. I think one is obviously there is a pandemic outside, but it's also beginning of something new. It provides us more opportunities to look within. So in that context, considering we have about 25 minutes or so, would you be able to share? I'm going to phase it in two parts. One is uh, personally things which we can do at our own home in terms of we do Sai Gayatri, Jyoti meditation. There are all these different practices each of us do to go internally. But before some practices which we can all practice on a daily basis, maybe one or two stories from time where in Swami's presence, if you could share where, things suddenly went all wrong and then Swami figured out a way to turn it around and make it an opportunity, because that's how we feel today, or any spiritual lesson, I guess, which Swami used a physical situation to impart a spiritual lesson.
Well, um, I can think of the Bhaja Govindam drama that we rewrote. When I was in the hospital after the snake bite, I was there in the hospital for about a month. And Swami didn't acknowledge my absence in the bhajan hall, nor did he ask anyone, where is he, what is he doing, nothing. And so I was just lying in the hospital wondering what is going on. How come Swami just wrote me off? Because of the wound in my foot after the snake bite. And then Swami sends word, ask him to rewrite the Bhaja Govindam drama. Didn't ask where I am, what I'm doing. He just sent word to registrar. And so so for me, that staying 3.5, 4 weeks in the hospital gave me a chance to rewrite the Bhaja Govindam drama. Gave me so much time to contemplate and think about how to make it. And the drama, Swami liked it so much, he took us to Bangalore, Bombay, and all of those places. as a big group. To me, lessons like that stays, where he converts a limitation into an opportunity. When Swami started the college was not ready, buildings were not ready. The college that you see now in Puttaparthi was not ready, was being built. So what would you and I do in situation like this? We look at the limitations. We always tend to look at the limitations. Swami would say, you're like the tongue that always goes to the missing tooth. You don't worry thinking of all the other teeth that are there in your mouth, right? Your tongue always plays in that hole that's created by the missing tooth. The 5-year-olds will understand this part. Anyway, so you and I would say, okay, let's wait for the building to come up and then we start the classes. Where are we going to start the classes? What will people think if we just do some classes here and there? Where will they stay? Boys will stay. What will the parents think? And this and that. And we'll put all the pros and cons on. We have a whiteboard. We write down what the difficulties are, what are the plus and strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, threats, and all of those modern management techniques. But this is what Swami did. He said, the college is starting, and it started. Where? Where were the classes held in the college? No. Where were the classes held? In Ishwaramba High School. Were the classes there in Ishwaramba High School? Classrooms empty? No. But Swami said, those boys, they can all squeeze in to make it larger classes for all those village boys. Open up the first floor, clear up a few rooms. Let's start the classes there. So we started. Our first classes were held in Ishwaramba High School, which was the very first institution Swami ever built. And Swami said this once, and in passing, it was so subtle that we would probably missed it. Swami said there are two institutions that will stay for thousands of years. One is the Ishwaramba High School, and second one is the Prashanti Mandir. He said both are built in stone. I have built them, so they will stay there for thousands of years. So we got a chance to do this Vidya in that particular institution. So looking back, I'm like, wow, that is so, so beautiful. And then coming to staying, rather than looking at the hostel is not ready, we cannot start the college, he said, clear up the sheds. These are young boys. They can sleep on the floor and they can just rush into the shared bathrooms, whatever. So the point is, we lived in the sheds for a couple of years, and we lived in large dormitories for the first one and a half years before the college. We moved in 1980, December 25th is when we moved to this hostel. So Swami, if you analyze Swami's life, every part of his, what could have been interpreted as difficulty, he turned it into an opportunity. What language did he know? Only Telugu, right? And yet he spoke to millions of people across the world. Why did North Indians come there? Why did you and I, who don't know Telugu, from Bombay and Maharashtra, go there? Why did people from South Africa come there? Why did people from Europe and all of the states and all over the world come there? He did not allow his limitation of not knowing how to speak any other languages stop him from reaching out to people. That's what baffles me. But when he says speak the language of heart, I get a glimpse of what he's trying to tell. That once you are in that, when love envelops you, what is there to stop you? Why is there fear? If there is fear, there is no love. If there is love, there is no fear. And so Swami's life, to me, that's why I said he's a role model. And thanks for asking this question, Srikanth, because it makes me also think there are so many moments in Swami's life which could be interpreted as limitations, but he never did. In fact, the number of devotees who came to him was after he sat on the wheelchair. He was confined to a wheelchair, but he did not let that confine his mission. His mission took off. This whole water project and Rudram chanting, and the whole world began to chant Gayatri Mantra and Rudram, thanks to him. So this is how he never allowed a limitation to stop him. So, Srikanth, if you analyze Swami's life, and I'm sure you do, and I'm sure all the devotees should do, as part of this Bhagavatam series, you learn that every time that we go through a difficulty, it is like Swami had that difficulty. You think, let me also add this once, because I was speaking to a young adult, he said, but Swami was, Sai Baba was rich, so he could do what he wanted. I just want to really point out that it was never like that. When Swami appointed us as lecturers, he called us boys, 4, 5, 6 of us, I guess. No, it was a little more. The first PhD group, he called us and he gave us a discourse. He said, you're all going to teach, be role models, be examples to the boys and all of that. There's so many lessons I take from there even today. because he prepared each one of us to be role models in some form, right? And so it's a hard work, but we're trying. And in that, he said, I want you to understand one thing. I know y'all are lecturers of a university, but know this thing, we don't have money to pay you right now. The kind of money that we pay other lecturers. They have men with family and they have children to take care of. So I cannot tell them this, but I can tell you all because I consider you as mine. So is it okay for next few months or whenever I can, I will give you some pocket money. But is it okay if you don't take salary? And we all started crying. We said, Swami, we never even wanted that. We would just wanted to serve. My point is, and after that, I was in the trust as well. The point is, money just came just about enough to do his work. And when that work was done, more money will come just to do that work. It's always been like that. That didn't stop him. He didn't say, let me build a capital and all of that. Maybe it's all changed now. I left in 94, but so much happened after that. I'm talking about the time when I was there, when I watched him and learned from that. Let money not stop you from what you're doing. Let your talents not stop you from what you're doing. You always have something unique to offer, something. We all have a unique DNA in our lives, I mean, in us, and nobody can be like me, medically, scientifically, right? And nobody can be like you. Each one of you look into the mirror tomorrow morning or after this satsang and look into the eyes of that person in the reflection and say, there is nobody else like this person that I'm seeing in this mirror. What am I trying to do? Trying to be like somebody else or fit into the crowd or do something that's socially acceptable or whatever it is. I'm losing my individuality. With Swami, he maintained his individuality. That is the beauty of Swami. And that is what I take home. In that confidence that came from him, because he realized he was divine. He knew he was divine. He was living that. So confidence oozed out of him. Love oozed out of his personality. If that can become us, and it is certainly possible, because that is, he said it's possible. So if he says it's possible, it's possible. I don't doubt that even for a second. So every opportunity in Swami was actually a difficulty. He built an ashram in a God-forsaken place. Everybody told him, don't go there. I'm sure Mrs. Geeta Ram would have shared this, or if not, she's one more person who can really share the story. Because when we went to Chennai, because she belongs to that generation, older generation, not that she's old, but she knows people, and she's known Swami from such a small age. We went to Swami to Madras once, which is now Chennai. And Swami took us to an old devotee's house. She brought these old pictures of Swami. Those days, there was no online or anything, just albums. Swami said, can you give me some? She said, no, I'm not going to give you. You will give it away to everybody. And we were just thrilled by watching that interaction between this old lady who was treating Swami like a child. And Swami said, tell something to these boys. They're all monkey minds and all of that. So this lady was sharing some story and she said, how many times we told Swami to start something here in Chennai? Don't go to Puttaparthi. Who will follow you there? You are small now. You have all these brilliant ideas, we know, but start something in Bangalore or Chennai. We have government officials. We have influence who can help you. But Swami insisted on starting something in Puttaparthi. So that to me really spoke to me so much that I can never forget that moment. Because when you look at starting anything, you first look at how many people will come to our center. Nobody will come to our center. So we compromise on everything just to fit more crowds, right? And so what the center stands for, what does Swami stand for? Stay there, hang in there, and you will draw the crowd because there is conviction there. There is an energy that makes all of this happen, not common sense and not logical thinking, right? So Swami starts up in Puttaparthi. Why? Because my mother is there. That is my village. That is my hometown. That is where I'm going to make. That became today. That is the epicenter. And hundreds of years later, that will be as holy as Varanasi. That is already. That will be as popular as Varanasi or Kasi or all of these places. Because I felt the same energy. I was recently in Varanasi a couple of weeks ago. The same energy as Puttaparthi. The same powerful energy came again and in waves. So how did he manage to do that? In a God-forsaken place. Starting a college there, starting university there. Who will send their kids to there? But people send. Even today they go there. The point is, we can convert anything, any challenge, Anything in our lives. We are attracting it, we are manifesting it in our lives, and we are manifesting it because the inner soul in you is seeking to grow out of that experience. So open your mind, make peace with that challenge, make peace with that obstacle, if you will. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. We make peace with the Vigna. We don't fight and say, remove it. Vignopashantaya. Vigna Harata and all has come more modern. This original sloka is Vignopashantaya. I make peace with obstacles. That is why even in Rudra, you're addressing an energy like this, what we are facing today. And this energy which seems to scare us, we say Rudra, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Namaste Rudra Manyava Uto Taishave Namaha. I bow to you. I bow to your anger. I bow to the arrows. I bow to the bow. I bow to your arms. I bow to this. So bow, be humble, make peace with this situation. Don't fight the situation. Don't try to run away from any situation for that matter. And especially in this situation, make peace. There is a meaning in this madness. There is cosmic energies moving. Planets are getting aligned, and that will happen. If not this, there will be another wave. Set an example as to how you did this so your children will remember this in future. When another wave comes, they'll say, my father and mother did this. And therefore, we have been through this before, and we rode it like a wave, literally, and we enjoyed the ride. So analyze Swami's life, analyze his message, learn from it with an open heart. And it's so amazing. It's so inspiring for me to think of Swami every morning. And I ask myself in this situation what Swami would have done. And I would go and do that. So short question, long answer, Srikant, but that's me.
No, I think you beautifully brought out the point that Swami, his life has always been his message. And by virtue of being a student, I think you have had the opportunity to see that on a daily basis where he lived and showed. He didn't live as an avatar. He lived as a human being
Exactly.
and showed us how we can live lives like that too.
Absolutely, Srikant. See, the thing is, I beg of you to do one thing. You use the word human being, and I love that part of Swami. If God were to fix things, then why would he even take an avatar? If the cosmic energies and whatever we call that, why do we need to see it? Because they come as an avatar in a human form with the body that can attract disease and death, as we have seen in Swami's life. And with that same fragile body, look at what he did. Today, if I want to do something, I feel I need to have education. So I keep studying. Then I feel, oh, but if I have to do something, I need money. I need to have jobs. So I go job hunting, career. Oh, if I need to express something, I need to have family. I need to have children. And then this goes on and on and on, right? And we feel to do something, I need something first in place. And Swami would often tell us in the veranda, and many boys will vouch for this. He would say, this hand, there is nothing. He'll close his fist and say, there's nothing. But in this nothing is everything. What does that mean? Look at Swami's life. He had nothing when he started his mission, right? When he wrote that letter to his brother, 1940, I have come to light the lamp of love. Was his vision. This boy in village having this vision, 1926, 1940, 16-year-old boy. He's writing this letter, I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts. Oh, this was a discourse he gave in 68. But there was a beautiful letter he's written to his brother. But that vision that he had at that point, where did that vision come from? And how he had the strength to hold on to that vision? What did he have for him to manifest that vision? Nothing. And yet it manifested, right? How? Because Swami told me once, it was part of some sports event, and I was very nervous that till Paul. Swami said, when you have a selfless work at hand, Swami kosam chestavu kada. He said, when you do it for Swami, all the grahas, navagrahagalu, anugraha rupamlo vastundi. He said, all the 9 grahas will come as anugraha to you. It's a Sanskrit word, play of words, but it's a very beautiful play. Graha means planets. We understand it as planets, but these are heavenly bodies which have gravitational forces. Graha. That's where the word gravity comes from. Grahas, all the 9 grahas, all the grahas will come to you and serve you as anugraha. Their grace, you will incur their grace. Why? Because you're opened, the eye, the walls of eye that is blocking you is breaking out. That's what that unity is about. Get out of this ego, fancy I thing, which is seeking this false sense of comfort, and step out into the unknown. And then you will draw into your lives the divine grace. This is what Swami showed us, and Srikant said it very well. His life is his message. That's it. With nothing, he built everything. Every single brick, every single motor there today, every single person who comes there, his entire credit only goes to him. Everything that we are doing today, many years after his lifetime, and thousands of miles away from where he originally lived, I still feel the energy of Sai in me. And hopefully you feel this too. That is the energy of Sai. Today, as we speak, we are drawing energy into our home. This positive energy of Sai is filling us, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, it is happening. And it is because that energy, that divine energy, all you need is to open your door to it. So it is not bound by geography, it's not bound by technology. The moment you switch in and somebody's talk or something opens your door, some listening to a bhajan or something opens a door, right there, sing my name, I will be there, he says. This is exactly what it is. So let us pray to Swami to open that door in our hearts. Let us pray that he gives us the strength, holds our hands, guide us every day. And I know there are many practices. There is Jyoti meditation, there's pranayamas and all of that. I guess each one of us has to find what makes sense. Don't treat only one thing. I would advise you. It's unsolicited advice, but I have the mic. Yours are muted, so you have no choice. The only unsolicited advice I have to give you is do not treat Swami as a convenience thing. Oh, I didn't have time today, I had a work to do, I had meetings, so I moved my puja. Swami won't mind. That Swami won't mind. Swami really won't mind, okay? But what we are trying to tell, what your actually subconscious mind is saying is, I don't have time for that, somehow we'll manage. That is how. If you treat that with that disrespect, find a time. This is all. What you want to do with it is up to you. You can sing a bhajan, chant the name, meditate, read a book, do one thing. Find an alone time with Swami. Alone time. Fix that time and say, this, my life will revolve around this time, but this time will not revolve to suit my life. Because we have moved Shivratris to weekends. We have moved Diwalis to weekends. We have moved Swami's birthdays everywhere. We move Aradhana everywhere. This is all what we have done out of convenience. That is not spirituality. That is not what Swami did in Puttaparthi. You could have said Shivratri is coming on Wednesday, but who will come from Bangalore and Madras? Let's celebrate on Thursday. He didn't do that. Or let's celebrate on Saturday. He said, this is Shivratri, it will be celebrated on Shivratri. Anyway, the point here is, because we move spiritual practices to suit our convenience, then that is what is being reflected in our lives. So when a danger comes, when trouble comes, and we look to God for support, it is a reflection of how much respect you had given him, how much respect you have given that energy in your inner space. If everything revolved around that, then that energy becomes so powerful and real. It will manifest in your house, in your lives. I'm telling you this from experience. I have never felt separate from Swami because everything in my life revolves around the values Swami taught me, period. That's it. That will never change. Okay, whether I lose my house and whatever it is, it doesn't matter. All that materialistic laws are gained really doesn't matter. What matters is how I have taken care of this wonderful, precious gift of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. How I constantly keep redefining these values as my life experiences teach me, and how I'm protecting these values, and how my daily routine revolves around these values is what I will treasure. I want you to do this. Find a space, a time. If it's 15 minutes, if it's 15 minutes, find that 15 minutes and say, this 15 minutes is what I am going to stick to no matter what. No matter what. I learned that from my father. I saw him strict, so strict in his spiritual practice. It was amazing. And then when he died, he died somewhere else. He wanted to die in Puttaparthi. And then Swami calls us and says, he has come to my feet. To hear Sadguru tell me that I have accepted him into my feet is the greatest thing a son can hear about his father. So the point here is, in that space, in that alone time with you and Sai, converse. Open your heart. Invite him into your lives. And then watch the miracle happen. And like a little plant that needs tendering, like mantras that energize an altar, use that space every day. That time is you and Swami. Nobody else can come in that inner space. Work that, play with it. Consider this moment as that chance. This is what I'm inspired to share today, and maybe Swami wants me to share this. So, like I said, it's slow start, but then there's no end to this satsang. Maybe Srikant can plan a 12-hour non-stop satsang and give me the mic.
No, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. So as we are coming to a close here, we have a few minutes. So you want to lead us through a prayer, and then we can close after that?
Shall I sing a short bhajan?
Sure.
Summarizes Swami's teachings. साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, प्रेम भक्ति बिना उद्धार नहीं, गुरु सेवा बिना निर्वाण नहीं, साई भजन बिना हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, जप ध्यान बिना सम योग नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, साईं नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं, हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साईं भजन बिना हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, सुख शांति नहीं, सुख शांति नहीं.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session, and I'm sure we can keep hearing this more and more and more. I think many of us have heard you in plenty, sir, but I think I'm pretty certain that we can listen to you more, particularly the insights that you bring, and from Swami's life and living and having experienced that, and personally using that in your day-to-day practice today. I think it's very inspirational. Thank you so much for joining and speaking with us today.
Thank you. As always, the greatest pleasure. Thank you all. Sai Ram.